Hey everyone, in this video I'm going to tell you about the new features for productivity improvement in Visual Studio version 15.8. This version has been recently released at the time of making this video, and you can download it by either going to the Visual Studio website or by upgrading your existing VS installation by going to the help menu. So without wasting any more time, let's look at the new ways to improve our productivity in the new version of Visual Studio. But before we begin, I have a very small request to make. If in the course of watching this video you feel that you like the contents, then please take a moment to subscribe to my channel. It will surely be a great help and encouragement for me to see your support for the work which I'm putting in the videos. Okay, so I'm using a console application to show you the code examples and the features for improved productivity which I'm going to talk about are going to be these ones. First one is the multi-caret support, and then there is the support for duplicating lines and pieces of codes without actually copying and pasting them in the clipboard. Number third is the expansion and contraction of our selection based on a starting reference point into the code blocks surrounding that reference point. And the final one is the new inbuilt options for code cleanup in the Visual Studio IDE. So let's start with the first one, which is the multi-caret support. This support simply means that we will have the feature to make selection and insertion of code at multiple areas. This does seem a good idea, as sometimes we have to write variable names which will have a common prefix or suffix and rest of the name is different. In this case, instead of copy pasting the first variable, we can simply write the common part in one go. There could be more situations where this can be useful, but my guess is that they are going to be limited. To add the additional carets, simply use the default shortcut of Ctrl Alt and then clicking multiple times in the code where we want the additional carets to appear. So for the code examples, I'm going to show you a list of variables, and I just want to associate these variables with a category. In this case, I'm going to assign them to an employee, and to do that I need to write employee underscore before each variable, and this is kind of a cumbersome process. We can either type the employee underscore or we can copy and paste it, but instead of doing it by using the multi-caret support, we can simply Control Alt and then we can click at multiple places. Actually, you know what, I need to place the initial cursor over here, and then let's click at the starting point for each variable, and then we can write the employee underscore in one go. So that's a pretty useful feature in my opinion. The second one is the duplication of lines and codes without copying them, and this feature is the one which I actually like the most, and it seems to be the most practical to me. So many times I have to duplicate lines, but that will involve copying the entire code line into the clipboard and then pasting it again. The main issue with this approach was that if we have copied anything before copying the entire line, then it would get overwritten and we would need to copy it again. Do that multiple times in the course of writing hundreds of lines of code, and you are actually looking at a wastage of several minutes of productive time. The new Visual Studio version has solved this issue by allowing us to duplicate a line or any other selection for that matter instead of copying it into the clipboard first. This can be done by pressing Ctrl D. If nothing has been selected, then the entire line will be duplicated into the next line, otherwise the selection will be duplicated. So for an example, let's say that we are writing something into the console and I just need to write something else in the console by using the same code statement. So what I can do is I can simply press Ctrl C and then Ctrl V at the end of this line, but by doing this line will be copied into the clipboard and I don't really want to do that. So what I can simply do is I can press Ctrl D. So let me just show you. I'm just first copying this string and then I'm pressing Ctrl D. Now this line is duplicated over here, and when I will press Ctrl V, then this string will be pasted instead of this entire line. So yeah, that's a pretty good feature. And we can also use Ctrl D for individual selections. So let's say I'm pressing Ctrl D by selecting this piece of code. Now this is duplicated over here. So yep, that's another useful feature which can be used. Now for the third one, expanding and contracting selection of code blocks is another useful feature. It simply means that from any starting point we can keep on selecting the outer code blocks until the selection fit our requirement. Similarly, the selection can be contracted too if we select too much of the outer code blocks and lines. The default shortcut to invoke this is Shift Alt and then equals to sign, and this can also be done from the edit menu by selecting edit and then advanced and then selecting this expand selection menu item. So I'm going to show you an example, and there are actually several lines of codes with a for each statement. So let's say that the starting point is going to be this format function. So when I will press Shift and then Alt and then equals to, then I will keep on selecting the outer blocks, and let's say that I have selected too much, then I can simply press Shift Alt and then minus symbol to retract my selections until I have reached the desired selection of code block, and then I can do whatever I want to do. I can maybe want to delete this entire piece of code, or maybe I want to copy it to paste it afterwards. I mean, it depends on the requirement what we need to do. So yep, that was the third one. The final one, or the final feature which has been added, is the addition of code cleanup options to the document formatting dialog. There are many new options to clean up our code based on several different standards. In my opinion, this is indeed a very useful feature because from what I have seen, if code quality is overlooked, then it doesn't take much time to quickly become a mess for the entire team to handle. So let's take a look at some of those code cleanup options which have been added, and you can access them by going to the tools and then options, and then you can select the text editor. Inside it there is the C# or C#, whatever you want to call it, and then there is the code style. Inside it there is formatting. Now there is a group of checkboxes which have been added over here under the under a main checkbox, which is perform additional code cleanup during formatting. So if you will check this, and whenever you will format your code in any file, then the Visual Studio IDE will make sure to apply these rules on your code which you are formatting. For example, if you want to remove unused variables, then you can take this one. If you want to add or remove braces for single line if statements or control statements like for each, etc., then you can take this one too. So alright, that was it for this video, guys, and there are some more latest productivity features which are important, which I have not covered in this video. You can take a look at them by going over to the link of the article which I have provided in the description of this video. And thanks for watching this video. If you have watched this far, then I am guessing that you have liked the contents of this video. If you do, then please don't forget to subscribe to my channel if you haven't already done so, to stay updated about the new stuff which is coming out on a regular basis. Until we meet in another video, stay safe and have a good day.